the management of democracy in Turkey has been successfully applied by the Ankara government, while the opposition in Turkey fails to act like an opposition figure once in the latest maybe 20 years. And that's why in our previous video we have projected that there is unlikely an opportunity for the opposition parties, even with a greater coalition, that will win against President Erdogan. But we want to talk about this again once more, why or how this management of democracy means, and how they really affect the democracy in Turkey. So let's start the management of democracy in Turkey while the opposition cannot be a figure or act like an option for people, because really the popularity of the opposition parties do not rise for the last 6 months. So really there's something wrong with it. So without further any delay, let's start. So the opposition parties from 2000, I would say 18 elections, they haven't been an opportunity or an option for the public. The popularity of the opposition parties do not rise, while the government in Ankara, or AKP, or President Erdogan's party AKP, has been losing greatly in the votes or in the popularity. Also, the survey shows that now the AKP, the President Erdogan's party, is around, I will say, 35% to 40% in general. Most of the survey companies, survey reports indicate this, while the opposition parties are still within their 2016-15 margins. Let's say the CHP, which is the Atatürk's party, is still between 25 to 30%. It's not really great. Why we are saying this? Because we see these people who has switched from AKP but to no party yet. So they have suspicions, they have doubts to whom they should be electing. And this greatly indicates or emphasizes a concern to all the political parties in Turkey. In order to revert this back, there is a great role, I would say, either companies or people in Turkey who gives this information to public. So if a figure who might be important in a political party or in the economics or in other political affairs criticize President Erdogan's policy or economy or something about the country, these sources starts to distribute disinformation about him or her in order to discredit that person. So once the reliability of the person is damaged or hurt, then it's believed that his or her criticism will soon go away. And since maybe 2008 or 10, this has really worked a lot. But now what we have been recognizing that in the social media, how these trolls are acting, how do they really shoot all these videos or do all these reports and so on and so forth. The people start thinking that, just wait a minute, we have been voting for President Erdogan, but now we are seeing these trolls are really doing something wrong. They really talk behind the cameras openly about how they should really disinfect or spread all the lies about that criticism or that person, how they should really look him or her bad in front of the camera and so on and so forth. So they do not try to be really not optimistic, but at least neutral about the facts or the news, but they try to discredit the people. So once the people started to believe that, this the soul of the party is getting, or AKP is getting now faster. And now we have seen that the popularity of AKP in the surveys, in the polls, are getting in between 35% to 40%, whereas the opposition parties unfortunately have not increased their popularity in front of the people. Why? Because the people are suggesting that we have given you the mayor of Istanbul and Ankara, although the municipalities we left it with the AKP parties, so that you can work together. However, be careful. There are some issues are really important for us. Nationality or nationalism, religions, culture, these kind of, and the aids and all these helps, the social helps or the social aid programs, these are really important for us. We want you to also keep on doing these as they have done before. And if we really believe that you are going to act like a one, which is a option against President Erdogan, we might consider you to give a chance in the coming elections. This was really the message in Istanbul and Ankara elections. But in Istanbul, especially İmamoğlu fails to honor this. He has engaged with a dispute with President Erdogan in a hospital road, where this hospital will especially work for the coronavirus pandemics in Turkey, in Istanbul, and he refused to construct the road between the city main road and the hospital itself. Then the transportation minister intervened and they have done the tender and they have did the road. And this has really failed the people. They expect him to not fight with President Erdogan, but to cooperate with him so that they can credit him. But he lost the opportunity. Whereas in Ankara, Mansur Yavaş, whose background is coming from the nationalist movement party, has won the hearts and the minds of the people. Regardless which party you are believing in, the Ankara, the people living in Ankara now are believing in him, and he has gained their hearts and minds by achieving the things that the people expected him to give back, and that's good for him. The difference between, as I said, İmamoğlu, Istanbul mayor, and Ankara mayor Mansur Yavaş is this. Mansur Yavaş is coming from a nationalist party background, and İmamoğlu is from the CHP, secular party. And the CHP has to understand the things. The elites, they do not hear, they do not understand. They are really like a good-minded people. They don't listen. You need to really make a shape from the wood, if you like a bed or a table or whatever it is. And these people, they really don't get anything. They always think that, yeah, it's not easy, come here and you can do if you can, and so on and so forth, but they never leave their posts. That's the issue about them. So really, they are a waste of time in Turkish politics. They really do not try to make a difference. İmamoğlu is what they wanted. It's not a different option. He was brought to Istanbul mayor candidate by the party leader. He wasn't achieving great achievements. If you ask anybody before he was brought as a candidate for Istanbul mayor, have you heard anybody named Ekrem İmamoğlu? If you are in Istanbul, it was at that moment, I remember, 15 to 20% maybe the people might know him. In Turkey, maybe 2-3% in total. That's all. I mean, really, that's all. Nobody knew him. Why? Because he hasn't achieved great success. And since it was the fact, it was inevitable for us not to say or suggest that he is going to fail and he is not a good candidate for neither Istanbul, and if the party thinks as a next candidate for presidency, he is not a good option. He will never ever be a good option. The world is changing, the Europe is changing, the Turkey is changing, and Turkey is going to be much more stronger than today. Either you accept this or not, it is your own problem, but it is going to be. The world is getting more nationality. I mean, nationalism will increase in Turkey rapidly also too, like in the world. And this, and also the religion and the religious figures and the religious cultures also going to be important. So CHP has to decide whether they should be in the position to administer all these changes in a way that they can manage, or they should be aside and think about their own pockets and benefits and interests. That's all. If they will do the second, which I am thinking there is a great opportunity or option or likelihood that they will do that, we will see no strong figures, no candidates, nothing. Just the same mentality will go on for decades. If not, this is almost the time that they should start changing. But now we are seeing there is nothing like that. And maybe after 2023 it might happen, we don't know yet. But for now, that's why in our last or previous video we have said that it is unlikely that there will be a strong candidate in the coming elections, so that he can or she can win the presidency elections. It's almost impossible. Some of my friends or the people who have subscribed to my channel wrote me in private that this is ridiculous, it's impossible. No, it is possible. For a government or for a country, what will happen in 5 to 10 years time, it's easy to suggest if you are living today. You can't suggest maybe 40 or 50 years later or 100 years later. It's really hard to predict. But 2 or 3 years later, what will happen, it's like tomorrow. You should be knowing that. And as long as this goes, all the opposition parties in Turkey will fail against President Erdogan. He is going to win it again. And that's why it is important that the opposition parties really should start doing or thinking management change in their own parties. Because the people, they do not credit them as an option against Erdogan or as a strong leader. Their perception is not this. As long as this is the perception, it's impossible for any of these opposition leaders to win any election, including a strong coalition against Erdogan. That's the thing. And there is also one more thing that I would like to say. Despite the fact that the Ankara or AKP government is suppressing the coalition parties and try to discredit them by using trolls against them, there is still democracy in Turkey. The Istanbul election was the proof of it. Despite the fact that AKP tried to revise the elections, which they have been successful to do so, but they lost it again because people in Turkey, they know what they want. They always know what they want. There is a problem, yes. There are weaknesses, yes. There are some strengths. It's the same for every country, every nation. But the Istanbul elections show opposition parties and also the government party that there is a likelihood that if the opposition parties will bring the leaders which they demand in terms of character, in terms of policies they want to see from him or her, they will vote for that person. So, therefore, we are not going to suggest that there is no democracy in Turkey. Yes, we are going to also stress the fact that Turkey has been away from the democracy that it got used to living like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I would say. That's also true. And either or true or not, but in our mind it is greatly true that the the policies or the actions that AKP policy leaders or makers are taking against the people who criticize them or against the people who do not vote them is really humiliating these people. You shouldn't. They are not unimportant people. All of the people who vote against and or for AKP as a government is important and is equal to each other. But AKP at this moment government is really by discrediting these people who criticize their policies. It's not a very wise, I will say, policy. It shouldn't be really done. And we will see what will happen, how this happens. But I'm going to suggest this. Turkey is going to be a very vital figure in the Middle East, especially, and Balkans. I will say shortly after the Corona. Turkey has a great capacity, despite the fact that I am also going to wait a financial crisis in Turkey after the Corona, or maybe within this year even it might start with. The economy is not really nice. There is a very bad agriculture policy in Turkey, I have to admit. But there is a very strong health institution in Turkey. It's really very strong. And there's a great opportunities that Turkey has, like populations, especially the young populations, the people who are eager to learn technology and apply them in their own lives are really considerably higher than many parts of the world. That's why I believe that Turkey will be very strong and things will change in Middle East. And Turkey will be even stronger. With or without Erdogan, this is going to happen. And also we will talk about this in the coming sessions. Also, I would like to give this news that we will start now taking ourselves something not related with Corona, but something related afterwards to Corona, where Turkey will be, how it's going to now. I mean, Corona was not a cause, but it was. I will suggest this one. Corona was a catalyst for Turkey to speed up the things that they are going to achieve, which is going to be a little bit harmful in a way. So it will shake the boat, but it will not devastate everything else. There will be some problems with or without Erdogan. Turkey is going to be very big country. The influence in the Middle East is going to increase. That's more or less clear now. And how this is going to take place, we want to talk about this now, hopefully in the coming videos. Anyway, if you like this video, please press the like button and also subscribe to our channel so you can hear the first video that we are going to do. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.